Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are going to explain about morphological typology in English morphology. We are from group 9. Our members are Anissa Hanifatur Rahmah, Desi Amalia, and me, Anissa Nailul Husna. Alright, here we have 5 types of morphological typology. The first is analytic language. They are made up of sequence of free morphemes. Each word consists of a single morpheme, used by itself meaning intact. The second is agglutinating language, the kind of synthesis putting together of morphemes we find in Hungarian. The third is inflexing language. This type divided into 2 subtypes. They are synthetic language. Affixes or bond morphemes are attached to other morphemes. And the other is fusional language. Words are formed by adding bond morpheme to stem. The affix may not be easy to separate from the stem. The fourth is incorporating language. Highly complex words may be formed by combining several stems and affixes. And the last one is infixing language. Carry on, we will explain what is morphological typology. Morphological typology is a way of classifying the language of the world that groups languages according to their common morphological structures, and it organizes languages on the basis of how those languages form words by combining morphemes. And should you know that morphological typology is classified into 2 big categories. According to the way in which they put morphemes together to form words, based on this way, there are 2 basic morphological types, analytic and synthetic, the latter having several subtypes. We're gonna move to the first type. This is analytic language, also known as isolating language. They are made up of sequence of free morphemes. Each word consists of a single morpheme. This type doesn't use prefixes or suffixes to compose words. Analytic language expresses through the use of separate words. Here I want to show you the example of this type. The example is Mandarin Chinese. Let's check this out. Mandarin Chinese has highly analytic or isolating structure. For example, woman tan chin, I plural play piano. We are playing the piano. Or woman tan chin le, I plural play piano past. We played the piano. Or tada woman, she or he hits I plural. She or he hits us. Okay, I will explain about the example above. English is unlike Mandarin in this respect, since the personal pronoun woman, that means we, is changed in form to us when it used as the object of a verb. So, that is the example if this sentence written in English. Tracy likes cats. Tracy is a subject, likes is a verb, cat is an object. It will be different with Mandarin Chinese, which is a subject could change or switch to be an object, like cats like Tracy.
And for the next material is about agglutinating language, the kind of synthesis putting together of morphemes we find in Hungarian language. In agglutinating language like Hungarian, the morphemes are joining together relatively loosely. It is usually easy to determine where the boundaries between morphemes are. And for example, from Hungarian language is hazungban, that means in our house, and hazidi, that means your house. Another example of agglutinating language is Swahili. Swahili verb stems take prefixes to indicate the person of the subject of the verb and to indicate the tense of the verb. To better understand what it means, let me give you some example. In Swahili language, ni means I, un means you, an means she. And na means its present tense, li means its past tense, and ta means its future tense. For instance, if you say Nina Soma, ni means I, na means its present tense, and Soma means read. So it means you say I am reading. And if you want to say you were reading, it means the ni part will change to un and the na part will change to li. It becomes uli soma. Li means past tenses and un means you. And if you want to say future tenses, you just need to change the li part to ta and it means its future tenses. For example, uta soma. Un means you and ta means future tenses and it means you will read. Another example of agglutinating language is Turkish. Turkish tends to be more or less one-to-one matching of morphemes with more. For example, el means hand in singular and im means my. If we put it together, it becomes ilm, that means my hand. And if we add do after the ilm, it will become ilm do, that means in my hand. Okay, that's all about agglutinating language. Let's move to the next one. The next one is inflecting language. There are two kinds of inflecting language, that is synthetic language and functional language. Synthetic language is affixes or bound morphemes that are attached to other morphemes, so that a word may be made of several meaningful elements. The bound morphemes may add another element or meaning to the stem which is part of affixes that are added by indicating the grammatical function of the stem in a sentence. For example, there is Hungarian language. In English, position in the sentence of noun phrase, the man or the dog, that tells one whether the phrase is the subject or object of the verb. But in Hungarian language, a noun or noun phrase may appear either before or after the verb in a sentence and be recognized as the subject or object in either position because it is marked with suffixes t if it is an object. As you can see from the example, the first example means the dog sees the man as the object, and the second sentence is the man sees the dog and the man is still an object. Both examples mean the same thing, even though the position of the noun phrase, meaning the man, is different with respect to the verb meaning sees. Next, the use of free morphemes in Hungarian language. Hungarian language indicates personal possession and location by the use of suffixes attached to the stem. For example, has means has, whereas in English, these concepts are expressed by the use of free morphemes.
The second subtype is functional language. Functional language is words are formed by adding bound morpheme to stem. The affix may not be easy to separate from the stem. It is often rather hard to tell where one morpheme ends and the next begins. The affixes is characteristically fused with the stem. Spanish is one of the examples of this subtype. I'll give you some examples for this language that are hablo means I'm speaking, habla means she is speaking, hable means I spoke. Suffixes o means first person singular present tense. Suffixes a means third person singular present tense. And suffixes e means first person singular past tense. For more examples, they are hablamos means we are speaking. Hablan means they are speaking. Suffixes mos means first person plural present tense, and suffixes "and" means third person plural present tense. For the last examples, they are never appear in isolation in Spanish.
Functional language often differ from agglutinating languages in other way as well. Agglutinating languages usually have only one meaning indicated by each affix, but in functional language, a single affix may convey several meanings simultaneously. Russian functional language. Let's have a look at the example below. Читальни, читальни. She or he is reading. The bone form "nie" signify third person as well as singular and present tense. The second example is читал, читал. He was reading. The suffix "l" means singular, masculine, and past tense simultaneously. The note is: compare the Swahili example above, where person and tenses are signaled by separate affixes. Polysynthetic language. Highly complex words may be formed by combining several stems and affixes. This is usually a matter of making nouns
such as subject, object, etc., into parts of the verb forms.
Next is Indian polysynthetic language. The first example is Anin nam ye tian. Anin nam ye tian. He catch fish, non pas. Do he is fish catching. Aya, he is catching fish. The second example is Nam kite and nai. Nam kite and nai. Catch tiger, non pas. Do first person agent. Or I will tiger catch. Aya, I will catch a tiger.
The polysynthetic construction may be more complex, including several nouns as well as a variety of other affixes. You can take a look at the examples below.
The other example of polysynthetic language is Greenlandic Eskimo. Greenlandic Eskimo is a typical incorporating language. You can express in Eskimo in one word. For example, tutu sikov, tutu sikov. That may include a verb and its object. What is said using a whole sentence containing several words in English and even more words in Chinese. Eskimo is a language with a long word. Example, illuminipok, illuminipok. That tend to have very extensive agglutination and inflection. Many Native American language and Aboriginal language of Australian are incorporating. If you need to take a note of this one, I have 4 result typology classification of Greenberg's proposal. The first one is, if a language has between 100 to 199 morphemes per word, it is analytic or isolating. With 168 morphemes per word in Greenberg's sample of sentences, English falls in essentially isolating category. It is similar to Chinese. The second is a language averaging between 200 until 299 morphemes per word is synthetic or inflecting if the realization of the different morphemes tends to be simultaneous in Ancient Latin. The third is a language averaging between 200 until 299 morphemes per word, is agglutinative if each morphemes tend to be realized by a separate of morph, as in Turkish. And the last is a language is incorporating if it averages 300 morphemes per word or more, as in Eskimo.
Thanks for your attention. We do apologize for the mistakes that we have done, both in our speaking or incomplete material. Sincerely, our team, Ilul, Desi, and Roma. May you have any question?